Sorry, I'm just waiting to see the now hosting drop.
I'm not a biologist, but I don't think Ho-Oh's face. I'm not a biologist, but I don't think Ho-Oh's face.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Randomania 3. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. This is our Stage 8, our final stage. It is called Chosen Class. It is a standard run-through to Chaos with many of the randomizer features you've come to know and love. The only difference is all of our players must find the tail and use it. My name is Sforzondo. I am joined in the broadcast booth by Chitin619. Chitin, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well, Sforzondo, and the race is about to begin in less than 5 seconds, so here we, shall I say, go.
So what are you looking forward to most tonight?
Well, since everyone's is forced to class change for this seed, I say I'm looking for good early spells off the get-go.
So we got Nuke and Ice 3 in the Black Mage shop.
But in the White Magic shop, we got Harm 3, Life, and Heal 2, and Wall.
Definitely not a bad outlook at the start for our players.
And we see Artea heading to TOFR immediately. Not TOFR, sorry, my bad.
My only question then, I guess it's a matter of money troubles, is that's actually a move you don't see Artea make a whole lot. Two of our runners featured on stream, Artea and Tristal, are tied for first place in our league, and if they are tied at the end of our stage 8 flags, there will be a special playoff for them. And so it's going to be really interesting to see tonight who comes out on top and how this race plays out.
Well, we see, I believe Fuchsia's about to hit TOF immediately.
Yeah, we've got early glare on these imps, which is really interesting.
Fire 2 on those bones, though.
So everything you've come to know on our randomizer is shuffled. Our enemy scripts, our spells, our skills, and we have an early Ruby sighting.
Oh, the question in everyone's mind. Will you go for the Titan's Cave, or would you go straight to the volcano?
Yeah, it's definitely going to pose an interesting play for some of our players. If I were to make an early prediction, I would tell you that Artea would absolutely go Earth, and Fuchsia Fantasy would absolutely not go Earth.
Well, there is one thing for a fact is, I already know who rolled this seed. I'll reveal the seed roller once we hit the pirates.
One can only hope. Although I'll tell you, with Nuke and Ice 3, there's definitely no doubt in my mind the pirates will not be an obstacle in this particular flag, in this particular seed. So we've got our players chunking through Matoya, or through Temple of Fiends and Garland, no problem.
Question is, will you go straight to Matoya, or you gotta wait for it till you get your ship and you go straight to Provoke?
Yeah, it's an interesting play for those who went Temple of Fiends first. Having Nuke and Ice 3 means you can get over the pirates very easily. From there, it's simply a matter of going and getting the ship and doing the sweep. That's at least what I would have done. But then again, I am not one of the top 3-5 players in this league, so what they do is pretty close to gospel at this point.
But I have noticed that 3 of our players on our stream right now is running one Master Thief.
Yeah, so the Thief is going to serve one of apologies for that. Thief's going to serve one of two functions in this game. Early on, it's going to help our players run away from fights they'd rather not take. And then after a while, you can expect those thieves to take a nice long dirt nap, as the experience they gain in the middle game levels is not going to help the party very much at all. It doesn't do a whole lot of melee damage. It doesn't do any magic until you class up to ninja and get past 15. So for the first middle section of the game, the thief kind of carries a little dead weight to him.
But we saw Crystal reset just now because at Matoya there's over 10k gold. Well, at White Magic level 2, there's a Cure 4. And on the Black Magic side, we've got Warp and Temper.
Warp is definitely going to be a big pickup. It's going to allow our racers to get through some of the dungeons a little faster, allow them to warp out, use housing or whatever they want to restore their spell charges and hit points and save their game and whatnot. So early warp is definitely a welcome sight. Question in chat, what is the Stage 8 goals? This is a standard run through to Chaos. So our players are looking to complete the objectives as a normal vanilla game, killing the 4 fiends and then eventually Lich. The only thing that has changed in this flag set is that they must find and cash in the tail. So there are 231 treasure chests in the game. 224 of them could possibly contain the tail. So it's going to be one big long scavenger hunt with a dead chaos at the end of it.
Well, meanwhile, Tristan just cleared those pirates with ease with the nuke. That's no problem. And I believe his entire party's at level 3 or level 4.
Yeah, the experience on this is 2.2x plus 0 on the modifier, so experience gain is going to be quite a bit slower than maybe the casual player would have been setting the experience to. 2.2x on the imps is still not a whole lot, and without a plus flat bonus, they're not gaining levels very fast.
Yeah, but those pro rings for Provoke are expensive. They're like going for 10k plus each.
Yeah, that temper's a good find. Let's see where fast is before we get too excited about how melees are going to work in this game. One thing I'm noticing is that Salty Fries opted for 2 red mages, so we'll see how the rest of White Magic pans out to see if he has access to more and better spells. Red mages have a few more restrictions than White Mage, but they're mostly based on spell slot as opposed to the name of the spell, so red mages can be a feast or famine selection, and Salty Fry going with 2 of them, he's definitely going deeper in. And I gotta tell you, Artea's party is really interesting. 2 fighters and a black mage. He absolutely does not like the black belt class.
He's always been against the black belt class since day 1.
As I'm looking over our play groups, including the 3 runners that we are actually following off stream, the only person who has taken a black belt is Quicklit, and that's only so that he could kill that black belt as the party member to give up their experience for the good of the rest of the party.
Yeah, with this scaling, I would not do a black belt grind to death for this seed. Question in chat. War flags are set. Oh boy. You want to explain that for Zondo?
Oh, not a problem. Our starting from the top, our enemy grips, spells, and skills are all shuffled, so all enemies can do a wide assortment of things. I've seen ogres with blizzard and imps with glare and a whole host of other mean and nasty things that could be going on. Our prices are set at, I believe, 25 to 400%, so prices can vary widely. Our enemy percents are 45% to 220%, if I'm not mistaken. So that is all their hit points, their absorb rating, their evade rating, their strengths, and whatnot. All of those are on some factor between 45 and 220%. Our incentives are off, I believe. Let me recheck that one to see if there are actually incentives in this particular category.
By the way, level 3 magic for white had fade in the 3rd slot.
Ooh, that's going to be a good pickup for those red mages. So Salty Fries Gamble looks like it pays off with level 1 nuke and level 3 fade. Ice Cave and Ordeals are incentivized treasures in this particular flag set, so they will contain an incentivized item of some sort, whether it be a quest progression item such as the floater, the slab, or the crown, or it can possess any one of 5 other items. Let me check that. 4 other items since we found the ruby. It could be either the mass immune, the ribbon, the tail, which is definitely what is coveted by everyone, and I am drawing a blank on the other 2 because I have not played with incentives on in quite some time.
Well, while you were doing that, I just found out that Artea is doing the Peninsula Power grinding right now.
It's an interesting call because I think everyone's heading in the direction of Marsh, and so having those levels could potentially help him depending on how good Marsh is. But watching Artea do this is a little perplexing to me as someone who's trying to kind of learn and grow from one of the best players in this randomizer. I'd always thought if you had nuke at 1, you just dive whatever dungeon and kill everything between point A and point B, and that's how you gain your levels. So it's interesting to me to see this play.
Well, Fuchsia's in the Marsh Cave along with Salty. Let's see what the top floor is going to be containing.
So, question in chat: while Salty is checking the top floor of Marsh, why is Artea running the red mage down? So any experience is evenly divided amongst all of your party members, and so in Artea's decision making, he has opted for 2 fighters and black mage as the sole providers of the damage, and the killing of that 4th party member is solely for spreading that experience over the 3 remaining characters. Now, why 2 fighters and a black mage? You certainly will have to ask him yourself. But like I said earlier, anything he does to me is gospel because he is one of the top 3 players in the entirety of Final Fantasy Randomizer.
By the way, at Dwarf Cave earlier, I did see a katana in the chest, so ninja straps might come into play if someone's running the thief.
Yeah, and with the 10,000 gold chest earlier, it's certainly possible to see that, since in often many cases the katanas just sell fodder because it usually is worth a lot of gold. But finding that 10,000 gold chest, you may hang on to the katana as long as you can, unless you're Minochi, then you just sell everything.
And by the way, top floor only had is all gold.
So it looks like we've got a whole lot of bupkis in the top floor of Marsh Cave. And I'll have you know that Artea is not the only one doing the Peninsula Power Grind. We are actually tracking 2 runners off stream who are currently doing Peninsula Power Grinds as well.
Who's the other one?
we've got Minochi and Alliger Wrap both doing Peninsula Power Grinds right now.
Ooh, TNT found on Fuchsia's side.
Well, that's going to be a good pickup, but I mean, that was one of those eventualities. One of the first 45 treasure chests has to be the TNT. And he just books it. He doesn't even take any chances checking the rest of it.
If I was Fuchsia, I would have taken that gamble, especially if you have the nuke charges to provide with.
Yeah, it's a really tough call, and if Tristal stays the course, we'll know what Fuchsia missed out on, because I think Fuchsia checked this treasure room right here that Tristal's currently in, and there's the opal bracelet, it looks like.
But he's skipping the typical wizard chest.
Oh, he's going back for it. I think he just wanted to pop his head in and see that one first.
Ouch! 4 wizards off the bat too.
Oh, that's tough. They're hitting pretty strong too. I think Tristal knew that. That's why he wanted to open with that heal 3. Yeah, so to alleviate the question that's sort of come up in chat about Fuchsia sprites, Fuchsia is using a mod developed by Terralin. It is a ROM hack called Valkyries of Light. If you go to the ROM hack, oh, I never remember this, romhack.net, romhacking.net, you guys should know it, hopefully. If you look up Valkyries of Light, you will find the Final Fantasy ROM hack that allows you to play Final Fantasy 1 with an all-female cast. That is 12 unique sprites for each pair of class sets. And so Terralin worked really hard on this mod, and it has been an overwhelming success, being featured, and a lot of people asking and inquiring about it and whatnot. So props to Terralin for creating this ROM hack to allow that to happen.
By the way, you know what the wizards were guarding? The crown.
Oh, that's funny. Wizards guarding crown. That's very vanilla. So it's very interesting to see what's going to be behind the crown chests. If Tristal's going to take that, and anybody else that took on the wizards to check that, it's going to be real interesting to see what's behind the crown chest. Personally, I'm hoping it's the floater.
Well, here's a surprise for you. Guys have mute spell.
Chitin, it looks like you're being corrected in chat. It looks like the wizards had gold.
Then where the heck was crown? Because someone marked it already on Tristal.
The tracker that pointed that out is it's a very interesting lad running our tracking tonight. He's running tracking and potential correction.
Either way, question. I got a question for the chat. Where you can predict where the tail's gonna be hiding?
Yeah, let's get some of those predictions in chat. Let's get some chat interaction going. Where do you guys think? Either where do you think it is, or where do you want to see the tail being tonight? Do you really want it something trolly? Oh, asps with crack. That's pretty troll.
That is already a near rip for Tristal. I think he better reset at this point, unless he wants to keep his black mage alive.
It's going to be really interesting, actually, to see if anybody dives Earth. Asps with crack might be a common encounter in Floor 1, so we'll see if it drives anybody away.
For Zondo, you ready for a little spoiler alert?
Now, here we go.
I'm the one who rolled this seed.
Oh, man. We were due for a Kaifun.
Yeah, I'd rather waste my powers on stage 8 than stage 7, because stage 7 is way too fast for my blood.
Yeah, if you've got some snacks or some drinks, sit down and get comfortable, because this is definitely not going to be as short as the last stage. This could easily go 135 plus, depending on how trolly the rest of this seed gets.
Well, we see some peat grinding on the future side.
Yeah, peat grinding is definitely, I think at this point, more advantageous than Peninsula Power, but it comes at the risk of not knowing what was in Marsh Cave. And so for those that did the Peninsula Power grind, they were banking on Marsh being a difficult run-through, which, barring the Asps, which I don't even think they're actually in Marsh Cave, there really wasn't a whole lot in the Marsh Cave that was too scary.
Yeah, because the only thing that Marsh Cave has is just basically Mute Geist.
So Pete looks like it's on encounter 3. And Fuchsia's gonna keep pushing the reset power cycle until he gets a group greater than 1. Because when he's struggling trying to get more than 1 P.
Well, we know the struggle is real for Stage 8. Wow, people are actually calling the Mr. Astos' castle gonna be detail locked.
It's so interesting because the tail is one of the most wide open items you can find. It is there, like I said earlier, there are 231 chests in the game. 7 of those are in Temple of Fiends Revisited. The logic removes any progression, well, actually any really good items from Temple of Fiends. So that leaves us with 224. It could be crown locked, it could be chime cube locked, it could be rod locked, it could, there's just a whole lot of places it can be that really I don't think any other major item that we're looking for has. Like, all the progression items are usually locked within a certain number of chests. Floater is locked within 118 chests. Slab is locked in so much. If you add the Sea Shrine chests to it, which comes to like I think 170 something or otherwise, and then the crown of course omits any chests the crown could be in, which is I think 196. So the tail having 224 possible locations really opens this up to a giant treasure hunt dig, and it's going to be really interesting to see where it ends up.
By the way, I saw what happened on Salty's stream earlier just now, and he just ran into creeps with Dazzle.
Ouch, because they usually come with those ogres with blizzards, so that is not a fun encounter to make.
By the way, cheap houses at the Crescent Lake.
Yeah, the only downside is with no heals, any volcano dives means you have to have come prepared.
Or you could do worst. Die for the treasure trove, get out, then save with the house.
Well, sure, but if you go to Volcano right now, I mean, you're expected to take copious amounts of damage, and so heal potions usually help you. Heal 3 is going to be an immensely useful spell diving here for any white mage that has it. I don't remember if it was red mage locked or not.
No, it's not, because I saw Salty with the heal 3 earlier.
Okay, so right now we're seeing Tristal run and get his canoe. We've got Fuchsia diving right for Volcano. I did not catch a glimpse at how many heals he had left in his repertoire, or whatever that word is. Backpack. It looks like 85, I think, as I tried to glance really, really quickly at that, so he should be fine.
Well, Fuchsia's gonna die for the treasure trove, but he's gonna go for the first chest and he gets a heal pot. Oh, he's taking the long way out. Oh boy.
Yeah, see, and that's a route variance that some will go ahead and check the right side. Some will check, like me, I will run and check that first chest like he did with the heal potion, because all the steps you get on the bottom of that are free, in and out. But then I'll make a beeline right for the armory. It's just the biggest, densest bulk. And then from there you can head north and check the fire guarded chest, and then you can burn a warp and then start back in the bottom right corner of the room.
okay, shadows are an issue at the Mars because they have poison touch.
Isn't that a vanilla of them? Did they have vanilla poison touch?
No, that belonged to the scorpions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Shadows are not a fair fight because shadows almost always start with the ambush at low levels.
Oh, and Salty just got his Earth Rod, so he's diving to Earth first.
Interesting play. We'll see if it pans out. He's gonna check Titan's Trove right now. And somewhere Bismarck is watching and enjoying the fact that the Titan got a freeloaded ruby.
Ooh, Ice Sword was fire guarded.
That's an interesting pickup, but not for Tristal, because for Tristal, he doesn't have a character that can use the Ice Sword.
Yeah, he's running the typical black belt strats with a thief.
And it's really tough because, see, the enemy percents are 220, and if you ask, if you ask Artea, and certainly I will concur with him, the 220% you can overcome with a fighter with a large weapon, and so hopefully, and I don't know if we've seen fast yet, but certainly we'd hope fast is at a decent level. But yeah, 220% can be overcome with a fighter with a beefy weapon. And so, and speaking of beefy weapons, the armory contains a mass mute.
Well, I believe Fuchsia's in good places right now.
Flame armor, that's a good pick.
Ooh, and I like what Fuchsia did. Warp out, save, and go back in.
Yeah, that's definitely a good play. Just save the good stuff that you got. Don't dive and risk running into who knows what down there.
Oh, wow. Now even Giants have mute on Salty's side.
Well, that's going to be tough.
I believe the Giants and the guys have the Medusa script already, so who else might have the mute spell along with them?
So we see a little bit of route divergence where many of our runners are going Volcano. Some of our runners are going, you can see Salty Fry going Earth Cave. We've actually got Quicklet in the Ice Cave. Oh, I know it's in the Ice Cave.
Spoil it, my friend, if you can.
Should I spoil it? I don't know if any of you guys are watching on the outside.
Chat, spoil or not to spoil? Answer right now, or forever hold your peace.
There's the white shirt down there for Fuchsia, deep in the volcano. A very nice pickup.
But Fuchsia also picked up the adamant.
We got one vote for spoil, one vote for no spoil. I think I'm fair in saying that I won't spoil it for anybody who is actually interested in seeing that, so I won't spoil it.
Too late, Zagreev just spoiled it.
Did he though? Because he could be wrong. Someone just said, they were guessing it's 10. There's a ribbon in the Earth Cave, a nice find.
Oh, I bet you Salty's gonna be so mad that he wish he went to Volcano first because of the Massa Moon.
Yeah, that would definitely be helping him out. But also, though, one of those things is depending on where the progression items fall, Earth Cave could be one that a lot of our players skip.
For Zondo, did you see what Reddy just did?
No, I did not. I was looking at Tristal in the Castle Ordeal.
Reddy has Thunder and Rub.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Oh, so the question then becomes, do you really care about the red D chest? Statistically, it shouldn't have anything in it. Okay,
But
so we've got a crown in the
Crown
unintensified chest in Ordeal. So now he really does have the crown this time.
Question is, are you willing to go through the chest right now? Like the ultimate chest of doom.
Yeah, so that's what Fuchsia's going to have to decide, is whether or not the red D chest is worth it. And if it is, that's great, but statistically it shouldn't.
It would be messed up if it's the slab is in that chest.
It would be. It would be insanely messed up. Just, you know, because you think it's one in, whatever. So statistically, it should not really have anything in it. But you can't not know. I mean,
It's either you got a gamble or you can't.
to respond to Killen, no, actually, I mean, it's not that no chest is worth it. It's the risk versus checking that chest. Certainly, yes, no individual chest is worth checking, but you weigh the risk of checking that chest over, you know, the potential rewards that are in it. So in this particular case, there's sort of a high risk of checking this chest.
If you're just gonna try again, see if you can get to buy this Thunder Red Dragon. No, he got away from it.
Oh, it's a light axe. Okay, so we'll call it a 4 on the scale of value. Scale of 1 to 10. You know, light axe is like a 4.
I put it as a 3 because if you went to Volcano first, and you're not dealing with the undead right now, it's kind of pointless.
I mean, that's fair, but it's also going to give things like his fighter something to do when he encounters ghosts in the Sea Shrine.
And Future's about to fight Carrie while Salty's on his way to the vampire.
Yeah, Carrie should be, I don't want to say a pushover, because Carrie is definitely an underrated fight, but having mass immune and access to nukes, 2 nukes specifically, this should not be a problem. 2 nukes and Carrie goes down.
And plus, I believe that was less than 500 HP, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely low end on the hit points for Carrie. Yeah, to respond to Evil Bobby's question about people not being worried about the items and chests, it sort of depends on what they've discovered to this point. As I mentioned before, there are 231 chests in the game. 224 of them contain various items, various degrees. You know, Floater has up to 118 chests. You know, the crown is 196 chests. The slab's somewhere about 160 something chests or so. So if you're looking for those 3 items, or one of 3 ribbons, or the massa, or any one particular chest is not statistically likely to have that item. So the risk for checking said chest is usually weighed against that. And so, you know, for a kind of a strong gatekeeper like the Thunder Rub Red Dragon, Fuchsia decided that knowing what that chest is was important to do that fight again. If somebody comes through with a better, you know, set of items that they found, perhaps they skip that one. Who knows?
Well, meanwhile, Caribs have a stinger.
Wasting all your pure potion supply. I usually try to only buy like 10 per game, but those monsters that have Stinger really like to eat through them.
Usually for a safer bet, I take 20 pure potions with me, no questions asked.
And so it looks like images also have Poison Touch, and we're going to see from Salty Fry whether or not this Earth Dive, other than the ribbon, was truly worth it. Meanwhile, Tristal is checking the Crown Locked chest as he found his Crown and Castle Ordeal. We've got Fuchsia in the Ice Cave, and Artea now hitting the volcano. So we're going to find out very shortly what that Ice Cave item was.
Well, at least Artea's gonna be happy when he's gonna find a volcano in that treasure trove.
Yeah. The question's going to be, does he end up diving Earth before hitting Castle Ordeals or Ice Cave? Because we've already shown Castle Ordeals is required. And he's not going to find any progression items down there. He's going to be very happy with the lot of treasure he finds, but he will not find... Okay, that must have been blurry for my screen, because I really believe that he did just... Tristal just found the opal bracelet in Crown Locked.
Yes, he did.
Corneria Cat.
Yeah, Corneria had the Crown Lock opal bracelet. I think the one in Marsh Cave was the opal shield, I believe, or it could be the gauntlet.
Question in chat, does Fuchsia still have the adamant? If I had to guess, I'd say no. But I honestly don't know, because it wouldn't surprise me if he skipped the adamant Excalibur in favor of having Mass Immune. But that's purely speculative until I see his inventory.
Yeah, but Salty got into 4 wizards again.
Ooh, they hit hard. So Tristal is still looking for the floater and the slab, wherever they might be. With the warp spell, if you enter the hole on the backside of the 3 treasure chests, then use the warp spell, you will pop up right in between all the chests. So we're actually about to find out here in a couple of seconds what this incentivized Ice Cave item is.
It's vanilla!
I hope you like your floats vanilla. And so he is not going to check the rest of the Ice Cave. He is noping out of there as soon as humanly possible. We're going to see if these little shortcuts pan out for him, because kind of so far so good. Not much was in the Marsh Cave beyond the TNT. We will find out here maybe at some point if the rest of Ice Cave was required. About the only thing at this point we gotta hope is whether or not the slab is actually down there, since we've burned through both incentivized chests already. He has the Mass Immune. We know where 2 of the ribbons are. And in fact, I think there's one in the Earth Cave, and I think he should have the other one in the volcano, if I remember right.
The question is it worth it going through Earth right now? Because vampires have less than 400 HP, because I saw them survive at least 1 nuke.
Wait a minute, hang on now. Salty Fry was already on the 4th floor of Earth. What is he doing back at the volcano? Did he take a wipe somewhere?
I didn't see the wipe anywhere.
No, he was on floor 4 earlier. He was. I know he was. And that ribbon was in Ordeals. Thank you. 1 in Earth, 1 in Ordeals so far. So we know Ordeals is required. We know that our Fuchsia's going to pick up 1 ribbon along the way. The question is going to be, what does he do from here? So we've got a Pro Ring, and Tristal's just skipping out on the Pro Ring, so nothing in the Dwarf Cave.
Dwarves is not to be happy.
Finding Floater in the Ice Cave is a very interesting thing, because, in my opinion, I feel like Floater in the Ice Cave drives people away from Castle Ordeals, just because of the distance that you have to walk. Sometimes the sailing feels a little placebo-like in its ease, and so you can kind of park right up on the shores of Castle Ordeals. Hey, we got Zardia in the chat with the 10 bits. Thank you so much for donating. I actually will take this time to go ahead and say thank you to Randomania. If you like the action that you see, feel free to give Randomania and its auxiliary channels a follow. there's a lot of interesting things going on. And of course, as I'm propping that, we find the tail. Feel free to give our runners a follow if you like what you see.
Earth is mightily required in.
That's going to be really funny because I wonder how many of our runners are going to skip out on, especially Earth B4. I mean, really, that's one of those ones where it's so deep down there that Artea would find it, but I don't know how long before anybody else will find it. It looks like we've got Minochi in the Earth Cave as well. So it looks like Minochi is going to find it most definitely, but we're going to definitely see how long it takes the rest of our runners to find it. It is in a really rough spot in Earth B4 too. That is probably almost as out of the way as you can get. Save maybe Sky for Floating Fortress 2F. And so that's finding it in kind of a really odd spot.
Oh, but the exit spells at level 3 as well for the white magic.
Was that poison damage or poison stone on Carrie? Looks like poison damage on Carrie, maybe? She may have been light in hit points, but she was definitely strong in spells. So anyway, if you like what you see, feel free to give these runners a follow as well, because a lot of these runners run the very same content on the off time that we're not doing our league races. Sorry about that, Kite. I was still plugging. What do you?
According to Mighty Zardia, he said Carrie did have poison damage.
And of course, finally, we want to say thanks to Trenton, our tracker / restreamer for this run. If you guys like Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Randomizer, feel free to give Trenton a follow, because he definitely runs that with some frequency. And he's looking to certainly get more community people involved in that as well. And certainly, if you like the action and you want to be a part of it, feel free to join our Discord channel. We are always welcoming new members in. We are seeing kind of a big uptick in the new player help channel. So definitely come in, get involved, get to run in our Final Fantasy Randomizer. You can see right there on the website, finalfantasyrandomizer.com, as well as our Discord link. Feel free to give us a follow and get in on this action. We're going to be having a spring tournament coming up here soon, so there's definitely some discussion being had about that. We just welcome you guys to come and join us for that, for the tournament. It's an exciting time, definitely, to be a part of this. This is our 2.0.0 release stage as well, so the NPC shuffle is live. It's not part of our stage 8 rule set, but we've got it. It's live for public consumption, and it's just definitely a good time to be a part of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community.
By the way, Lich was a pushover. He only had less than 330 HP.
So we got Tristal about to pick up the floater, and then we've got Fuchsia working on the Zardia Islands. Not a whole lot to be found.
Except he just found a power stick.
I mean, what good is a power stick then?
If only that thing is actually a freaking temper staff.
Cough, cough. Developers, get on that.
Please, because the power staff needs some love.
So Fuchsia is a big fan of the Friends Don't Let Friends Dive Earth. So if we were to make any predictions whatsoever, Salty Fry's got to have the early lead. Despite not finding the progression items, he's got the one thing that's coveted by the rest of the pack, and that is the tail. Minochi is actually down there, and he did just pick up his tail as well. I think he is in a very similar position to Salty Fry at this point in terms of the number of orbs lit and progression items found. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here, because finding the tail is nice, finding the tail where he did is nice, but finding it this early, he's got to feel like he's kind of set back in the terms of actual progression and leveling and whatnot.
Well, speaking of using the airship and all, Fuchsia is actually on his way to Ordeals to grab his, the crown that's going to be there along with his ribbon.
Yeah, he definitely went away from what I had said. He did not opt for Sea Shrine. He opted to go right to Castle Ordeals. I think because it's incentivized, it's probably drawing people there. We got Tristal with the Bane Sword strats in the Frost Ruru's chest. It looks like Salty's going to go ahead and hit up Ordeals. unless he is sailing downwards and going and getting the canoe still. Actually, that looks like that might be where he's headed to go get his canoe. We'll see where he goes from there. We've got Artea working on the ice cave currently, so he's going to pick up his floater before too terribly long.
But man, Trizzle's been hitting hard with these wizards, though.
Yeah, the Wizards definitely aren't playing friendly this season. I mean, at least they don't have anything major, but they're hit really hard. Oh, and there's the slab deep in ice! I knew it! Fuchsia might be in some serious trouble here.
Well, for those who think Fuchsia's gonna win this race, well, his chances just went down the drain quite a bit now since Tristel found the slab.
Yeah, it's definitely like if you were placing bets on Fuchsia, and I mean Fuchsia's a very strong runner. It's definitely it turned on the jets as the series has gone on. But he opted not to check the rest of Ice Cave, just bolted with his floater, and that's gonna cost him dearly. And so we're gonna see how he approaches the rest of the game. But unfortunately, to have to double dip a dungeon like that, to also have to double dip that dungeon after just about everything else, unfortunately, I don't like Fuchsia's chances in this race.
So, Farzando, if you were taking, let's say, a fantasy draft, would you draft Tristel in a heartbeat for first place right now?
Oh gosh, that's tough. You gotta put me on the spot like that. It's really tough because it depends partly on flag set. Because I mean, you know, Tristel and Artea, and I mean, not even counting, you know, league admins like Edgeworth who aren't in the league participation, but who are you know, top tier runners. I really don't know, because I know Artea's got his, you know, particular weaknesses. I know Tristel's got his particular weaknesses. You just have to give me a flag set. In these sort of low XP, semi-low percentages, I actually think I take Artea. I kind of like that he takes enough risks, and really his deep knowledge of the game allows him to kind of fine-tune his party to be effective. I mean, Tristel, like many runners, it seems to be black belt or bust for him, and so I mean, it kind of pigeonholes him into a one-trick pony.
Well, we know in the past that black belt has been notoriously been the favorite to win these kind of races.
Oh, definitely. I think if your percentages are over 250, then unfortunately black belt is one of the required classes just for the sheer volume of hits that they get. But in my opinion, 220 is not that threshold.
Like, if I was gonna take the seat at the 220 stats, I would just take my usual single fighter with the triple mages in my lineup.
Yeah, I suppose it's probably not a bad play. I probably would have gone Salty Fries route, except I'd have gone red-white instead of red-red. I feel like that's a little too much risk of not having key spells like life and whatnot with the red mage permissions.
I agree with there, but you also the red mage is the riskiest part of it too. If you take double of it.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it seems to be paying off for Salty Fry with, like I said, Nuke at 1, Fade at 3, having Heal 3. It's kind of the question of and I didn't see whether he has access to life, but I know there are a bunch of cure spells available, plus all the heal potions. Really, life is the key spell to kind of have in your repertoire.
Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, Persando, are you actually going for the spring tournament this year?
Oh, I mean, you know, there's like a 95% chance that I'm in. Definitely.
As for me, I have a 0% chance to join in.
Speaking of 0%, how's that Dragon Warrior randomizer tournament coming?
Actually, my streak, I got halted at Swiss, man. Like, I ended up having 2 losses and a draw.
Yeah, so if you like randomizers, we have all kinds of randomizers on Randomania. That's the name of the game here. We have Dragon Warrior randomizer. We have lots of Legend of Zelda Link to the Past randomizer. We have Zelda 1 randomizer. I've seen Mario Brothers 3 randomizers. There's a ton of randomizers. So like I said, if you like that kind of content, feel free to give Randomania and its auxiliary channels a follow. Big thanks to Nora for just helping us plug the league and getting on to Randomania and getting fit into their schedule. It is certainly appreciated to be able to put our brand out there like this.
Well, if you like FF Randomizer or any of the randomizers we do here on Randomania, there is also the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Rando.
Yeah, that one's actually gaining some legs and getting a nice little following going. So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy IV and a fan of of randomizers in general, Final Fantasy Free Enterprise might be something you want to look into.
And I can tell you this much, I've been participating in the wikis and they have been fun.
Yeah, so Artea going Ordeals is not unprecedented. I mean, with the fact that there are incentivized chests, and he has technically only found, well, he's found 2 of his progression items at this point. Knowing that the Ordeals was a ribbon, there's probably a strong likelihood in his mind that he believes Ordeals contains a progression item.
Well, Crystal's actually trying to look for the bottle, actually.
Yeah, the bottle makes for a very interesting check. We'll see if it's here in Gaia. It is, and so he's going to grab that, and it's just lazy Gaia residents keeping the bottle trapped of the fairy in the lake. And so I always like to check Caravan to see if it's in Caravan, then Gaia, and if it's not in Gaia, then it's in Onrak, and it's a really trolly bottle placement there. One of the interesting things about Final Fantasy Shuffle is you'll get a good laugh every time you get a seed in which finding and uncorking the bottle nets you the Excalibur.
Are you talking about the NPC Shuffle?
Oh yeah, like one of my very first runs of the NPC Shuffle, the fairy in the bottle gave me the Excalibur, and I thought to myself, strange women lying in ponds delivering swords is no basis for a system of government.
Oh, gross. Wyverns have stinger as well.
Yep, and I gotta tell you, just to share a little confession with our audience here, I used to be a part of Team Tyro, and then, like Ben Stiller's character in Tropic Thunder, I killed one of the thing I love the most, and then I realized how sweet and juicy its insides are and how much experience it's worth, and it's one of those things you just can't pass up, not for politics.
Why? Me and Icefoot are looking at your soul, man.
It's just so good.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that when you guys get nuked by them, by one of my seeds.
Yeah, I know. Somewhere Edgeworth is plotting the scripts for Tyros, and every time I face one, it's going to be just lights out for me. So Agamas are not proving to be a very fun grind.
Oh, jeez Louise. Do you have Stone Touch?
Stone Touch, yep.
So, for those who want to use the black belt to grind, good luck.
Yeah, we're gonna see what Tristal does, because Tristal, you know, he may be heading somewhere. I don't know. He just translated his slab, and now he's moving away. I don't know. Is he gonna do C first? Is he gonna go get the chime and do Sky first?
I'm guessing he's getting the Q. Does he have the Q?
No, that's where he's heading right now.
I believe he's gonna dive into where Kraken lives. Ooh, I stand corrected. It's not poison. It's not Stone Touch from Agama. It's Stone Poison.
Oh, Agamafax. Agama spit turns you to stone.
Technically, they might be the Basilisk if you played the D&D original ruling for them.
So Agamas are basilisks we just set on fire.
Well, Mighty Artea just got his crown, and he's about to get his ribbon soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be. He's gotta be a little surprised by seeing that because now he has all of his progression items. So Artea is in progression go mode currently. Or he should be. He did find his slab, I believe. He surely would not have. Oh, I guess that's fair. I guess I'm not thinking of the tail being a progression go mode item, and I need to start. That is correct. So he is not in technical progression go mode.
Oh, he will be once he hits the Earth Cave.
Yeah, but the question is, when does he hit the Earth Cave? Because from here, you've got access to Sea Shrine, you've got access to Floating Fortress. Oh, and unfortunately, we have our first forfeit. Minochi, who is our other top 3 candidates, has just forfeited out. His game unfortunately froze for him. Looks like maybe he blue screened or something, and his stream just crashed. And so, unfortunately, he is out.
Oh, that's rough. With the technical issues, that is rough. Because we've seen a few in those in the tournament in the past.
Yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate thing to have your computer crash like that. Something you definitely don't want to see, especially if you're having a strong run. Like Minochi is the only other runner who's found the tail, and so it was a shame for him because it was kind of, you know, between Salty Fry we have on stream and Minochi off stream. Because I predict Salty Fry will find all his progression items before maybe hitting up one of the major dungeons, other than Volcano, certainly, of course.
Let's hope Salty runs away from the Red Deep, because Red Deep we know is dangerous right now.
Oh, and just takes a melee swing, so it looks like he's gonna make it through this alright, maybe, depending. Not enough nukes to take him down, but Massimune does the job. Salty Fry is only level 11, and we are here at the 56-minute mark, so definitely interesting to see what he does from here, because if he does the normal incentive progression, he will find what he's looking for and won't have to check probably a single chest in Sea or Sky. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does about leveling progression, because what better way to gain levels as part of the progress than just getting them while you're checking your chests? So we'll see what he does.
Is it me, or is Trissel actually trying to go to Sky Castle?
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. This is a really interesting play because, although I'm not 100% sure where he's going exactly, but it is an interesting play because you had to skip out on... Yeah, oh, he's heading to Volcano. So he went and did all of that work, and I guess he was just checking chests to help him in his progression, try to get stronger or otherwise. He doesn't realize he's about to find the Massimune, so he's probably going to regret all that exterior work he just did.
And apparently there's nothing in Chinatown that's interesting enough for Artea. He's heading to the Earth. He's going to grab the tail as soon as he gets all to the brutal chest.
Is he, though? I mean, obviously, maybe he's heading down to the bottom to check the bigger, denser chest, but he's definitely not checking the 5 in the top, which is sort of makes sense on account of the fact that there's only 5 in the top, and if it's not anything he's looking for, he could just warp back and do this again. Oh, hi, Nits. Glad to see you. You know what? About the hour mark. We're getting really close to the hour mark. It's probably about a good time for a recap. So, the most important item people are looking for, the tail, is in Earth B4. And so Salty Fry has the tail, but Salty Fry has no other progression items currently, as all he has done now is Earth and Volcano. Now, he's the only player with 2 orbs lit, so he does stand a good chance, considering what he has left are the 2 incentive chests. or the incentivized dungeons, I should say, which will net him the floater, which is the incentive in Ice Cave, and the crown, which is not incentivized in Castle Ordeals. So Salty Fry is about to pick up his major progression items and truly be in go mode. Artea is kind of hot on his heels a little bit now that he's actually going and checking Earth Cave instead of say going to Sea Shrine or going to Floating Fortress. Artea has decided to check the Earth Cave on its potential ease, but those crack asps are still getting to him. So we have our floater in incentivized ice. We have the crown in a non-incentivized chest in Ordeals. The incentivized chest in Castle Ordeals is the ribbon, and the tail is located in Earth B4 in the bottom left-hand chest.
And don't forget, the slab was even before the eye.
Oh, that's correct. I did forget about that. This slab is in a non-incentivized chest in the Ice Cave, in which Fuchsia bailed as soon as he got the incentivized floater. So Fuchsia, unfortunately, has missed out on where the slab is, and will probably check literally the rest of the game, including the Earth Cave, looking for it. He may find the tail, which is fortunate for him, but unfortunately, Ice Cave might be one of the last places he looks.
By the way, he cannot get into Flying Fortress without that slab.
That is true. So he will probably check the entirety of C here, which there's another ribbon. So I mean, at least there's a consolation prize at the bottom of the cereal box.
And for those who are watching, please follow our brothers, our restreamer, and of course all the Random Mania channels, and of course follow the commentators, me and Zondo, at the respective links. So meanwhile, Salty got 6-pack of wizards incoming.
Meanwhile, Nuke does the job. Hopefully, hopefully he gets them all. I always say that, and there's always going to be a low roll somewhere, but. So Artea's efforts are being rewarded with the ribbon. As he skipped the first floor, went right to the second floor. He's got his ruby, so, or I guess let me rephrase that. Because of the airship, he has his rod, and so we should expect him to dive and check the Earth B4 chests.
And let's hope Artea does not get stoned by the Agamas.
So now we got Salty Fry picking up the floater right. We'll see what he does, and hopefully he does not make the mistake Fuchsia did. It does not look like he's doing that. He's going to complete the rest of this dungeon. He's going to find the slab, and he is truly going to be in progression go mode.
Oh, Adamant was in Volcano.
That is correct, but unfortunately that does not do Tristal any good. So I've got off stream, I've got Quicklit with 2 orbs as well, but so that means he has been to the Earth Cave, or maybe he hasn't. Maybe I don't know. He's currently in Sea Shrine, so he hasn't, unless he's killed Kraken and he's checking mermaids right now, which I'm looking into. He has not class changed yet, and his black belt is killed, so it's not a matter of okay. Kraken is more than likely his second orb. And he is currently checking mermaids, so he has not been to Earth, he has not found his tail, but he does have 2 orbs.
Wow, Fuchsia's using the Quad X on the Sea Snake pack, actually.
Yeah, Quad X tends to be a fairly underrated spell. It's quite powerful if you have less than 300 hit points that are not in Undead or Elemental or Chaos.
Oh, I wish today I could Quad X Chaos.
And so Salty is about to come upon his slab. And there it is. Salty Fry is now officially in progression go mode. And he is actually going to take some shots at the eye. This is an interesting play because I did mention earlier he was level 11, so this might be a good time for him to pick out some level.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind grinding an eye if it's low HP though.
Well, it also has to be low HP and fairly friendly on the spell skill touch list. He has more than 200 hit points, but missed the thief in its attack, so I don't know that it really does a whole lot of damage. We'll have to see if it pulls up a skill, but it looks like... Oh, he's just going to exit out. I think he just wanted to take a couple of shots at that, see if he can gain a level, and move on.
And if I was Salty right now, I would want to go straight to Lazy Gaia right now.
Yeah, most definitely. Salty, he has just about everything he could need. Now that he's got his floater, he can go do his class change. You know, he should have enough stuff to at least get a passable run through. The big question is going to be levels and what he decides to do about that. How is he going to gain his levels going forward? Otherwise, he really doesn't need to check any more treasure chests. He should have the Castle Ordeals ribbon. He has the Earth Cave ribbon since he has the tail, so he's got 2 ribbons.
Oh, by the way, Trinton just said Power Bonk is a Sea Shrine.
Interesting. We'll see if that's going to come into play. It looks like Tristal has not yet face checked the Agama, so we'll see what happens here.
He just did, and he just got gazed by one of them.
I mean, yes, he has a ribbon on that black belt, but, you know, do you take the risk on the 3 in 256 chance that you get it through the ribbon?
Well, on physical damage, the black belt's only taking like 1 to 2 damage per hit.
And that's going to save him on his heal potions. It should be a successful grind, provided he doesn't get the stone. Ice Armor's also down there in Sea Shrine, so... you know, some armor stacking is kind of nice.
Oh yeah, by the way, I saw what Future had also got from Sea Shrine was the Professional Cape.
It's always good to build this stuff up. Unfortunately, it's not going to do him a lick of good in terms of speedrunning and trying to pull this one out. Until he makes the turn back to Ice Cave, unfortunately, he's just going to continue to get further and further behind. So Salty Fry's in an interesting position. It looks like he is checking some of the free chests, even though he is in progression go mode with Mass Immune and 2 ribbons. So it's interesting to see where he goes from here.
Maybe he's probably to opt to find the the famous Aegis Shield and
I
Dragon
had this
Armor.
realization. I looked over at the track. He doesn't actually have the crown yet. He hasn't been to Ordeal, so he should only have 1 ribbon and not the crown. So it actually is going to be interesting to see where he goes from here. As he has not been to Castle Ordeals, and therefore he could decide to go to Ordeals while he's in the region, or he could hit up Sea Shrine or Floating Fortress. So the decision he makes here may very well impact the game going forward. So we got Artea coming out of the Earth Cave. I just looked down and saw him coming out of the Earth Cave, so I certainly hope he has his tail.
Unless Artea actually... Oh no, Artea didn't skip it. Okay.
No, there's no way. I mean, he skips floor 1 just because you can come back to it after you warp out. But yeah, that's probably a good assumption that he has the tail. He should go, like, right now and figure that out.
He just needs to hit the Lazy Gaia. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, so Salty's now going in for his class change, which if you have a non-black belt character, it's a good thing to do because you don't have to worry about magic defense on any of your characters except for the black belt. And so getting that class change early is going to benefit his fighter who can cast some curative magic, red mage who unlocks some more permissions, and the white mage who can use the white shirt. So yes, we do have Artea class changing. Artea does have his tail. And so now it's going to be an interesting race between Salty Fry and Artea here, as both are Well, Salty's a little behind technically in the terms of not having the crown, so the next decision he makes may very well decide the game for him.
If Salty decides to go Ordeal first, he's pretty much up on heels on Artea.
Yeah, but if he decides not to go Ordeals, this one would be just about in the bag for Artea, depending on what happens in Temple of Fiends.
And we know everyone's favorite dungeon, Temple of Fiends Revisited, is been known for being the ultimate gatekeeper.
Yeah, most definitely. And so in the first race of Stage 8, Phantom apparently was not playing nice with anybody.
Well, you know, sooner or later, Phantom's gonna get pissed off.
Yeah, he's tired of being run over. He's tired of being thought as a second-rate enemy. He is just as viable as the Fiends in his mind. So we got Salty Fry translating his slab. So he's got his bottle Oxiel. So he's got his Oxiel and his slab translated. What he does here is going to determine kind of how this race potentially finishes up. And I hate to say it, Salty, but if you come back and watch this VOD, it's make or break right here.
Oh, he decided to exchange it for Excalibur.
That'll give him another melee, which is good in like single and double target fights, like the two Gersharks or something like that. It's always good to have two melees in that particular, just so you're not kind of going through your spell charges. Yes, you have Nuke at 1, but if you're in Salty Fry's position, you don't have a whole lot of levels to burn spell charges with. So having two melees, or 3 in this particular case, or 4 if you count the other red mage, it's not a bad position for him to be in.
Ooh, Fuchsia's actually diving into the earth.
Well, Fuchsia is technically out of options at this point. He has gone through the Sea Shrine, and so now he is at the Friends Don't Let Friends Dive Earth phase. And I can only imagine how upset he would be when he finds out the slab's not here. He should have the rod. I'm pretty sure anybody who gets the airship, the very first thing you should do, kids, is go get the rod, because it is only a stone's throw away from the airship landing.
Funny enough, I don't think he went to grab the rod.
Well, if Fuchsia would be so kind as to go into his menu and just show us real quick. Not that he can hear us, just, you know, telepathy and stuff.
Oh, our tracker said he does have it.
Well, that's going to be a bit of a relief.
Well, at least he's gonna. I bet you he's gonna be very salty when he finds out he actually skipped the slab.
No, he's going to be absurdly salty.
Do you think it's worthy of a table flip?
Oh, it might be. It might be, but he only has anybody to blame but himself. It's not like you're running into successive monsters with nuke and instant death and stuff like that. It's well, you made a risk, you tried to make a calculated risk to skip, what would that be? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 chests? For the sake of not finding the slab. I mean, he gave up on a significant number of chests.
Oh man, if you said 13 just now, I thought it would have been Friday the 13th right now for this phrase.
No. But there are 16 chests in the ice cave. The only 3 he checked were the 3 in the hole's room, and so he had 13 left on the table when he decided to exit out of there. Which is, I mean, he knows, or let me rephrase that: he will know he made a mistake, and I don't know that he makes that mistake again. I don't know if he knows that risk he calculated for. It's one thing to bolt out of Volcano. You're probably going to come back because you got to kill the Fiend anyway, but to bolt out of an optional dungeon like that, and unfortunately, it's just, it's too much of a gamble in my opinion.
Yeah, skipping 13 chests over everything else, I say I won't skip it unless it's like desperation to survive.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, you got to think, well, if you're skipping out because you're afraid Ice Cave is going to be too hard, the one thing that can give you a small amount of solace is that, well, Ice Cave is required. If it's hard, odds are many of the runners are going to encounter the same difficulties going through there. And so, I don't know. I don't think it's ever worth that sort of risk. And it may be confirmation bias just to see that one come back and bite him, but that's just not something I would do.
Well, speaking of risks, Tristal is in dodging the bullet of stone poison from these Agamas for each battle so far.
Yeah, so far so good until he takes one, because I think something like that happened to him in the very last race, where he got a black belt of 40 and then unfortunately lost it or something, because he said he spent 20 minutes on an Agama grind last time. So we'll see if this pays off for him this time. If he gets 3 and 256 right here, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's not my fault that the last time I did that to someone was when Carrie had Death Touch.
I think the Agama facts got a little stale, as we're seeing an Agama grind with no Agama facts. So I think people have gotten over that meme. But we'll keep it in our back pockets, and maybe we'll resurrect it one.
Yeah, but what are the odds of resurrecting that meme anyway? Like 1 to zilch right now with the NPC shuffle in play.
It will be the next time there's an Agama grind when Bismarck is commentating.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, and Trenton definitely brings up a good point. But the way this league's format is, certainly if you lose this race, it's not the end of the world. There are 8 more races in this stage, I believe, to have a chance to net a win. And so, you know, if not this one, then the next one, or perhaps, you know, the front end is for taking risks. I mean, this seed is loaded with top 10 players in our league. Artea, Tristal, and Minochi are all tied for first. Salty Fry, Fuchsia Fantasy, and Quicklit are 3 of the next 4, I believe. And so this race is definitely loaded in regards to the talent of Final Fantasy Randomizer.
And speaking of Minochi, he just said in chat, "I'm here to snipe." I'm like, really, dude? If you were a snub, you would have continued.
Well, he couldn't. His computer crashed, and so what you need to do, Minochi, is you need to play it on like 2 simultaneous computers or something. I don't.
Or worse, 3.
So Zangri pointing out in chat something we missed: the Wiz Sahags with Toxic. Better the Wiz Sahags than the Red Sahags, but that's still a pretty nasty fight because that can be a common one that you see. Artea's still checking chests though, so I don't know what's kind of what he's looking for. He could be looking for Dragon Armor Age Shield. He could be looking for something, you know, sort of beefy. He should have both Mask and Excalibur for his 2 fighters. He's probably just looking for Opals. Opal what have you. Okay, he's not going to check the rest of this room. He's just going to check the free chests in Sharknado and kind of get out of there.
Ooh, Fuchsia's about to hit its last few chests.
Yeah, Fuchsia is going to be super duper salty. He's here's what I expect Fuchsia to do, actually, because he actually did this twice. He skipped Marsh, he got the TNT in Marsh, and he bailed out. And that was the first time I said it, is he failed to check the rest of Marsh. He bailed on that. He did the exact same thing in the Ice Cave. So he's actually done this in 2 dungeons. The even worse mistake he could make right now is to go back to Marsh and see if it was there. Because he's got to be running through his head at this point like, okay, it's got to be somewhere. I just left it behind. If he chooses Marsh first, I mean, there's, you know, he's going to be even saltier.
Well, let's hope he doesn't go back to Marsh because, you know, those wizards do not have a freaking thing that they regard that's worth it.
Yeah, and I mean he's gonna be upset. You know, the only solace maybe is that he has his Mystic Key, and he thinks, oh, maybe it's Crown Locked Marsh. So there's your tail. And so, you know, good for him on finding the tail. He'll get his class change, and everything will be good in that regard. We got Tristal absolutely dismantling Carrie, so thankfully he makes it out with his Agama Grind. Lighting his first orb, however, so he's got to feel a little behind in that regard, especially at the 1 hour and 20-minute mark. So Salty has chosen Sea Shrine, and Salty has unfortunately chosen poorly, so this is now Artea's race to lose.
Oh, Gershocks have rub.
And they usually like to rub up against their meal before they eat it.
And apparently Wizards like to have ink as well because they just have Flash in their skill list.
So Artea's going to go up against Kraken with two fighters, two knights, basically. We'll see how this goes for. Oh, it's going to go fairly well because he has low evade, low absorb, and there he goes. So Kraken is down for Artea. He clears the Sea Shrine Gauntlet. Now it's just a matter of heading over to Floating Fortress, taking out Tiamat, and then heading up to Temple of Fiends Revisited. So we'll see definitely the moves that he makes from this point.
Well, don't forget, you cannot underestimate Tristal right now because his black belt is his master is very high level too. So Tristal could snipe back if he's not gonna pick up any more chests.
Yeah, the problem with Tristal is he's checking the wrong chests. At least, you know, it's good to have the perspective of hindsight. We could literally watch everything that's going on. We have no idea what's in Floating Fortress or Mirage Tower, but we can tell you none of the items he needs are there. So, it's going to be really unfortunate to watch him check all of these chests to not come out with the tail.
He just needs to dive into Earth, and he can just say, "Okay, I can just say wipe the floor with everything."
Yeah, and so Salty is now going around into mermaids. So we'll get our look at kind of what's in there too. There's that ribbon. So we've got all three ribbons found: one in the incentivized ordeals, one in mermaids, and one in the Earth Cave.
Question in chat: defense sword, dragon armor might be the best thing left. I actually have to agree. I think that's the last two I possibly want to need. Also with the Aegis shield.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that. But in terms of speed, and in terms of trying to finish it, there's got to be a certain level of acceptable risk. And with two ribbons, yeah, he would not check mermaids. So with two ribbons, Artea's got to find that to be essentially an acceptable level of risk. The opal armor, flame armor, whatever he's going to have in his inventory, I think has got to be sufficient because I don't think he's going to check. And he didn't check mermaids. He only checked a handful of chests in the. And there's dragon armor in the Mirage Tower. Tristal's going to skip over that because he does not have a fighter or knight. But it doesn't look like any of our runners, if I had to guess, would actually check that floor unless they had not found what they were looking for yet. Namely, Tristal and Salty Fry will probably skip over those chests. Fuchsia might as well. So let's see where Fuchsia goes. All right, Fuchsia made the right choice and went to Ice Cave, so he's going to go and discover the sins of his doing. And it's funny because, I mean, Slab will be the last chest he has to check, too. It's in the drops. It's in the square right in front of the drop hole, so he's definitely going to lament and kick himself, certainly, metaphorically speaking.
Oh, and by the way, Fuchsia's trying to manipulate the encounters right now because he didn't want to have like a 7-pack of wizards earlier, I saw, before you reset it out.
Yeah, that's a pretty poor start to get all those wizards. And we found where the Power Glove is. It is in the one of the 2 free chests you get when coming through the Sea Shrine on Kraken Floor. So that's in a good place for any of the runners that just need to pass through and are not looking to collect all the chests. And so, unfortunately for Salty Fry, he's still missing his crown. So he will actually go and check all the chests on this floor. And unfortunately, he is not going to be happy with that because he may or may not realize he missed an incentivized chest.
But remember, the crown wasn't like before the last 7 chests in ordeals.
It is, but the fact that he hasn't checked the incentivized chest at least has to give him some indication of where he needs to go.
Wow, these Manticores want to cast a sleeping spell on Crystal.
So Fighter's picking up life at 1. That's going to be very handy. He definitely lucked out not really keeping or bringing any white magic in his party.
Man, Crystal is digging hard at Sky Fortress.
And there's the defense sword, which will help him a little. He can still cast the item, but that is definitely something Artea's... no, Artea's not going to need it, actually. Not truly. With the Masamune and the Adamant, the defense sword would represent the 3rd best sword in the game for his knights. Though it is a usable item, he should, if I remember right, he has checked Volcano to the point where he has the white shirt. So Artea should probably not concern himself with a defense sword a whole lot.
Unless he puts the defense sword maybe on one of his 2 knights, just in case one of them gets the RIP.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, as a usable item, but I mean, he now has life on both of his knights, and unless he's overcome the threshold of getting at least 1 or 2 charges, which that looks like 22. So, oh, he has definitely brought up his red mage now. His red mage is now going to gain a few levels. That's part of Artea's MO. Is he has an acceptable level that he likes to get his classes to. And certainly the brute force, you can get as many levels as you want, but he's satisfied with that black mage being, I believe, 18.
Did Fuchsia just got this? Oh, okay, he's got slab. He's got translate right now.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be feeling like he is not going to win this one. His only saving grace is he's got to feel like finding the tail. It has to give him something. But, I mean, he's got to know who he's racing with. Artea checked Earth Cave. Minochi checked Earth Cave. I mean, yes, unfortunately, Minochi had his computer crash on him. But he's got to know his competition and their particular status of whether or not they had checked the Earth Cave. So he definitely has to feel like that he's behind.
Unless somehow Tiamat wrecks Artea right out Sky Fortress, there's no way Fuchsia can win.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Fuchsia is, I mean, because if you look at it right now, I mean, Fuchsia is essentially behind the length and breadth of checking or going and getting the slab turned in for the chime, and then the current distance of whatever Artea travels by that point. But it's certainly very well possible that Artea... Oh, he is going for more chests, though. That is something that Fuchsia... I expect Fuchsia to actually take another risk and not check these chests.
If Fuchsia doesn't take a look at the chest, that means he pretty much can catch it to Artea ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta think that you know, we talk about acceptable levels of risk, perhaps with the limited healing that Artea's party has. Maybe he does feel like it, that not having dragon armor is not a risk he's willing to take. I don't expect him to check too terribly many more chests. I expect him to almost skip over the entirety of the second floor. I do wonder if he'll check any of the bulk rooms in the first floor. I don't expect him to check the Banesword chest. It's just a singlet. And so it's going to be interesting to see his routing from here, because from there, it's got to be about acceptable levels of risk.
Blue D's seeming a little bit beefy today, like beyond 700 HP.
Yeah, not that two fighters with max weapons can't handle, but certainly, yeah, you think you'd like to see him come down in a few more hit points. So now here is about where I expect Fuchsia to start closing the gap, is I expect Fuchsia to almost skip the entirety of Mirage 1 and 2. He has skipped 1, most likely he will skip 2 at this point. So, a lot of that gap's going to be covered in what chests Artea decided to check. The question will ultimately be is, yes, you can make up the time in closing the gap and not checking the chests, but can you make it up in the potential risk in not having the protections of things like Dragon Armor? And so it may look good on the clock, but we'll certainly see how Temple of Fiends handles these runners.
And Magikor's having Blizzard and Slow. Oh, jeez. And Artea's down to his Knights.
Yeah, his Knights can cast Life, but it's not going to get his Red Mage any levels at this point. And so, like I expected, he is going to skip 2F. He is going to skip a majority of 3F with the exception of what we usually call the free chests in 3F. It's these four over here. It's only a handful of steps to the actual room itself. And then, of course, when you run along the bottom, it's free encounters, so...
Aw, man, no Warmech on Tristan's side.
Well, we've got 2 more chances right now at it, so we'll see what happens. If Tristal or any of our other runners restarted their encounter table by power cycling, and any other runner did the same, then we can expect the same result. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what Tiamat has in store for Tristal.
Yeah, we're going to take an early look at what Artea is about to see. And, of course, Tiamat's a little beefy.
Oh, Tiamat has Bane!
This is definitely a beefier Tiamat here in terms of total hit points. The 1 black belt is certainly doing the bulk of the damage, but I expect Artea's 2 fighters to do more steady damage over the course.
Well, everyone, get your Warmech hype because the incoming Bridge of Destiny for Fuchsia coming up soon.
It looks like, though Artea is like 1 step away, I think, from being safe, it looks like no Warmech sighting on Artea's side. Oh, Artea, or not Artea, Tiamat is not hitting very hard, and so just a regular course of high damage hits and spells. He should go down probably this round, maybe? Maybe next. Yeah, question in chat. Is Tristan gonna have to full clear everything before Fiends? It depends. But in his choices, yes. It's certainly looking like it because he has all of his progression items. He's just missing the tail, and unfortunately, the tail is in the third to last chest you would check in the Earth Cave. So it looks like he's going to head to Earth last, and unfortunately making it a nearly full clear game. And so we've got our tail clear. Oh boy! So we got a Warmech sighting on Fuchsia's side. If Fuchsia clears this gives him some much needed level.
Fire 3 from Warmech.
That's a welcome sight, because that's kind of weak. We're kind of waiting for one of them nuclears. Also, we can keep an eye on his spell list, because he shares a spell list with the rest of the Fiends, so anything he gets, the Fiends will not have. Oh, and that's a weak Warmech. Wow.
Paper City.
And so he's got 21 across the board. Artea's going to go in with a couple of... The fighters are going to be beefier. But the Black Mage and the Red Mage are going to be more steady. So we'll see definitely how the party choices... Oh, Artea has not done his Crown Quest.
Probably it was his wisest decision not to check the crown stuff, the key lock stuff, maybe? Because
yeah, because I mean, I think the best thing we found in the key lock dwarves was like a pro ring. So even then, that's among the easier ones. I don't think any of the other crown lock chests were of any consequence. So it's kind of good on Artea for not checking those chests, but yeah.
But isn't Opal Bracelet in...
Oh, it is. I think you're right. It's in Crown Lock Canaria. I think he's going to just settle for his gold bracelets and be happy with it.
But I wouldn't stay there for long because I believe Fuchsia might just be on his way to Topher immediately.
Oh, most definitely. You're gonna see they may very well hit Topher at a very similar time. The question is going to be though, is Artea is I think slightly better equipped. The two fighters have each a Mass Immune and Excalibur, whereas Fuchsia only has one fighter with Mass Immune. Fuchsia did not pick up the Dragon Armor that was located in 2F of Mirage Tower. I believe he does have the Aegis Shield, which was either Mermaids or somewhere in Krakenside. Somewhere in Sea Shrine, I think is where the Aegis Shield was. So he's somewhat equipped in that regard. So it looks like Artea is going to beat Fuchsia by about 30 seconds or so to Temple of Fiends, depending on what Fuchsia does here.
Oh, according to Minotia, Aegis was in Volcano.
Okay, so we definitely know our runners are going to have the Aegis Shield, at least those with fighters that care about that sort of thing. But Fuchsia definitely does not have the Dragon Armor. Fuchsia went Earth, should have the ribbon. One ribbon, he should have that second ribbon out of Castle Ordeal, since that was one that everybody got. And then our third ribbon, which was in... Drawing a blank in regards to where that third ribbon was.
Mermaid side.
Right, and so Fuchsia should have all three ribbons. Artea is only going to have two, I think, because I don't think Artea searched Mermaid side.
Oh, and by the way, both Fuchsia and Artea are at Topher at 20 seconds apart.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting race. We now have a race. Fuchsia has managed to crawl back out of taking and forgetting the slab. So it's definitely going to be interesting to ask Artea some of the questions that led him to kind of opening this door, if you will. Did he, you know, we'll find out here soon, because if something whacks that fighter or whacks the Red Mage, you know, you kind of get a little lucky here because you have two casters that can cast life. So if one goes down, you've got the other. If both goes down, well, let's face it, the run's over. So we'll find out whether the Dragon Armor was really important or not.
By the way, Artea just ran into 4 Gasties.
What it looks like is Fuchsia reset the encounter table with a power cycle, and Artea did not. And I think that's going to be, obviously, that's going to affect. Because I certainly would rather take on 2 zombie dragons than 4 gas dragons at this point. So it looks like the fighters are 24, and then we got a 20 and a 15 on the mages. With no, red mage not having anything greater than level 4, it's certainly a sufficient level of magic casting for him. And so we got Tristal up there fighting Kraken, and so Tristal unfortunately has not gone to Earth yet. When he should know by now, the last place is now to check the Earth Cave, and he's got to feel a little bad. The only way he's got to be in this is if he goes down there, he can't even have a clean sweep of Earth. He has to full clear it just about, and so unfortunately for Tristal, he's definitely got to feel like he's out of this. More gas dragons for Artea's side too. Unfortunately for Artea, I don't really believe you can necessarily blame the gas dragons for this one.
Well, Artea might be lucky because Fuchsia just ran into a couple of worms.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the gas dragons are no fun to encounter in regards to how long it slows you down, but a lot of that time was made up for Fuchsia by just simply blitzing through Sky Castle, and for Artea kind of checking, let's say, extra chests, Mirage 1 and 2 and whatnot. But it's interesting to just watch this unfold, as, I mean, Fuchsia was really dead in the water. I mean, bailed on Ice Cave, and then basically full clearing sea before realizing that the slab was in Ice Cave. And so, just to go for that, to kind of being back in this, it's definitely interesting to see how this is going to unfold.
Well, we got Topher facts right now for this race. Sky was only about 30 seconds. Having key done was the biggest factor between Artea and Fuchsia.
Yeah, and as much as I want to agree with that, turning in the crown quests really only takes like a minute or so, especially with the floater. Whereas the amount of time Fuchsia spent basically checking things he didn't have to is far greater than the 1 minute that Artea let him have. And so, like I said, I gotta believe that Artea felt like he needed the dragon armor, and we'll find out here shortly whether that's an acceptable level. And there's the pass right there. So Artea moves in from the outside, does a little bump drafting right there, and gets himself into the Earth Cave, gets himself about 2/3 or a third of the way through the Earth floor.
Well, and at least Artea's gonna give us a peek of what Lich's gonna be packing.
Yeah, definitely. You know what they say, if you ain't first, you're last, and so on this one, Artea is definitely looking to just go ahead and close this one out. A win for Artea means he cements right now sole first place in the league. Only 2 other people in this league, Tristal being one of them, Minochi being the other, can even achieve a tie for first place. And so Artea is basically playing for a spot in what may be a league playoff. Yeah, unfortunately for Tristal, he's gone to see the ladies, but unfortunately for him, the ladies are not going to have the tail that he's actually looking for.
But it's going to land him a ribbon.
And so now we've got him on the carry floor, so Artea's really blitzed through, not power cycling there. He had a couple of gas dragons and a couple of unrunnables, but he's kind of managed to blitz his way through Fire Floor, which I suppose if you ask him, and there's a nuclear there from Carry. If you ask him, he probably doesn't actually want that long run in the Fire Floor, but he'd rather have it in the Water Floor.
Actually, I will prefer it in the water and the wind floor.
Yeah. The exhibition of NPC Shuffle I played with Fuchsia, I ended up power cycling in because I kept getting gas dragons. And so I ended up power cycling in, and it gave me an encounter-free water and air floor. It was a ridiculous spot in the encounter.
Ouch. And speaking of Fuchsia, he just ran into 4 unrunnable Earths while Artis dealing with the water pack.
Boy, this really is the Temple of Unrunnables tonight. The Worm Pack is unrunnable. The Gas Dragons are unrunnable. These Waters are unrunnable. The Earths are unrunnable. The Frost Giant and Frost Brew fight is unrunnable. The Zombie D fight that Fuchsia did was unrunnable. So it's really a Temple of Unrunnables. Speaking of Unrunnables, 2.1, when it comes out, and it should be coming out here in a little while, maybe a couple weeks, I'm not 100% sure what the timetable is, but it is going to introduce the Unrunnable Shuffle. So it is actually going to shuffle which encounters are unrunnable encounters. And before anyone asks, there is a new sort of icon to determine, or a new way to determine which encounters are unrunnable. Instead of the word run, you're going to get the word wait. And so that's how you will know which encounters are unrunnable. And so that is going to get shuffled in 2.1. So that's going to be an interesting addition to the Final Fantasy Randomizer. Who knows? Maybe we get the imps, unrunnable imps with Nuke. We finally get some sort of, super gatekeeping imps or something like that.
I got a funny unrunnable last one. I actually could put away from Terry.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That's got to be not an intended. So here's Kraken 2 for Artea, and unfortunately, Fuchsia getting the fires, which are also an unrunnable encounter, whereas Artea makes it out by the skin of his teeth. His fighter's still alive and moving on. Now Fuchsia Fantasy is on Carry 2, and Artea hits a pack of worms. And somewhere, Sho Fukamachi is just gritting his teeth at this.
I bet you he's happy that he didn't run the seed.
To respond to Bifu Curry's imagine unrunnable shadows, one of the things about the unrunnable encounters is if they are an unrunnable encounter, you do not get ambushed by them. So anything that has ambush or a high ambush rate is basically negated if it becomes an unrunnable encounter. So that's just one of the natures of how unrunnable encounters work. You cannot be ambushed by an unrunnable encounter. So if you step on a tile with an unrunnable, encounter, such as the Zombie D fight, you can never be ambushed by them.
Well, here's the funny thing. I actually ran into unrunnable ogre packs.
Well, luckily for Fuchsia, the fighter survived and managed to, get the rest of the party up, but he's definitely going to take some time resurrecting that party, whereas Artea is already on the Tiamat fight, and Tiamat is proving to have a lot of absorb. So maybe crack your power gloves out or crack your nukes out or something. It looks like he's just going to forge ahead without power glove. Now he's decided to power glove on his second fighter there. Killing 97 with the unrunnable Tyros hype. That is definitely something I had not thought of. Mandatory stake. They probably reset out of that, though. If it's a traveling encounter, you probably just reset it. Whether you're Team Tyro or just don't want to face the fight. Because the only place that comes up is in the overworld. There are no Tyros in dungeons that you have to fight, unfortunately.
Oh, but unfortunately, mighty Artea just lost his Black Wizard.
Yeah, there goes those nuke charges, so he's going to try and figure out how to overcome this high absorb. I don't know if he looks like he's just going to forge ahead. 220 is not a whole lot in terms of, not let's say a whole lot. Artea will tell you it's ridiculous for a JRPG. But in terms of what we've played with and what we've had experience with, 220 is kind of on the middle threshold of that's almost standard for what we play. And so, 220% of his, what would that be? 1,000, 1,100 hit points. So 2220. 2240, whatever that number comes out to being, is his max hit points. But either way, he forges through, he gets the kill. and he's just using all of his heal potions, and he's going to soldier on, hopefully encounter-free, to the Chaos floor.
If he gets iron goals, he's going to have another unrunnable pack.
It would be funny if Twilight Cosplay Club became an unrunnable encounter, because that's one that's a risk here. Vampires and the Wizard Vampire tend to hit pretty hard. All right, so...
And Artea is saying, hello, Chaos. It's time to meet your doom.
All right, so here we go. We're taking our first look at Chaos for Artea. This win will cement his place as one of, hopefully one, but one of potentially 3 finalists in our league playoff.
Oh, Chaos has nuke!
Not a welcome sight. Definitely not. He's going to bust out the Cure 4s, the more white shirts, so he doesn't melee. Ice 2 is a welcome sight. Unfortunately, it kills his red mage, so he's just down to the 2 fighters.
Oh, but here's the question. We haven't seen Cure 4.
We haven't. So far it was Nuke, Ice 2, Fire 2. So we'll see if he keeps checking spells, makes the switch to skills, maybe gives him a swirly or 2. We'll see what happens here. Oh, it looks like he's got really beefy. Oh, no, and Bane comes out and wipes his top fighter. Oh, and he had no hit points. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Artea has finished in first place, has cemented his spot as one of potentially 3 finalists in our Final Fantasy Randomizer League playoffs. That is an official SRL time of 1:49.58. It was short, but that was quite an exciting chaos.
That was a crazy head-to-head between Fuchsia and Artea. And Fuchsia right now is going to head to the Chaos fight. Fuchsia doesn't know that he has to deal with a Chaos with a nuke.
Question, did Artea have Aegis on his second fighter? I will almost guarantee that, because he definitely had put Dragon Armor on his second fighter, so I'm going to assume he loaded the second fighter with as much defensive stuff as he could, because that was the one with Mass Immune. It makes sense to kind of put it on that one, because that's kind of the one you want to survive, but, you know, the top one still needs a decent amount of armor, but...
I just realized that Fuchsia doesn't have the white shirt, so he's casting Invis 2 instead, so he's fine. Oh, and nuke off the bat! There goes the top row already.
If anybody's doing napkin math at home, which I'm about to do some math that Trenton always says don't do math on Twitch, even though he was the one who suggested this. We'll call it 150. That is 110 minutes. 1% of 110 is 1.1. So they would have 1 minute and 6 seconds. Cut that in half because we round up, so they have 38 seconds to clear this without a chaos point.
Ooh, and double shot of hello in this too.
Yeah, so we'll see here coming up whether, I mean, because realistically, I'm thinking the ribbon maybe wasn't on a top fighter, and so that's why that was a bit of a death suffered by Artea, but the second one either had that ribbon or the Dragon Armor Aegis Shield helped. And that's it. Fuchsia Fantasy downs his Chaos, comes in second place with an official SRL time of 1:52.25. As we see Tristal finally finding his tail, and now he's going to make his break for his 4th orb. And so we've got Salty Fry coming into the picture on 3F. Looks like he's making his first pass, maybe? You always face south when you come out of a fight, so I never really know if he's coming or going to Phantom. Okay, he is going away from Phantom, so here's another unrunnable encounter. We're going to get Artea in here. He is taking a quick break. we will get him in here, and then we will get Fuchsia in here as well to get his thoughts afterward.
What a race has this been?
That was really crazy. After Fuchsia abandoned the slab in Ice Cave, and then literally clearing the rest of the game, save Marsh Cave, which he abandoned after the TNT, literally clearing the rest of the game, or at least not the rest of the game, but not Mirage Sky, because you can't get into Mirage Sky. But he cleared Sea, he cleared Earth, he cleared Volcano Ordeals, and then a double dip into Ice, which probably didn't create as much of a setback as I'm trying to make that out to be, but that's still, kind of an egregious offense.
Well, abandoning Marsh after getting TNT was the right call, but abandoning Ice Cave after getting Floater was the wrong call from Fuchsia's end.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that cost him the game. I mean, just the sheer time it took him to go back and check that was still a few minutes. I mean, at this point, certainly a combination of things, but 2.5 minutes is basically the distance between Artea and Fuchsia. You could easily justify those 2.5 minutes in the Ice Cave. Having to fly back there, then grabbing the slab when he did, could have easily been 2.5 minutes. Also, it looked like resetting or power cycling your encounter table was the wrong call, as it unfortunately had set Fuchsia back, kind of in more ways than it did Artea, who went in without. It looked like he went in without power cycle.
Power cycling for this one was a gamble for Fuchsia. That might have cost him the race.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a gamble because, I mean, I just, point back to the NPC Shuffle exhibition race Fuchsia and I did, where I did reset the encounter table, and it ultimately ended up working out for me, not necessarily in the front end, but in the back end where I had no encounters in the water and air floor. Sometimes getting those encounters is a little deceptive, just depending on how your back end ends up looking. But there's never any guarantees. You just have to kind of know in your mind, all right, where am I at about, I don't know, encounter 15 or so, or how many steps is it through Temple of Fiends? The really good ones, those that win these games on a consistent basis can generally make that call. And so it's a skill I hope to learn one day.
But now we have the ultimate race. It's now between Salty and Tristal.
Yeah, Salty's got a little bit of a lead as Tristal has a Phantom to contend with. And so also nipping at the heels is Quicklet, who is also on a floor with 4 worms. I think he just passed Tiamat 2. So we actually, if Quicklet can survive, it looks like we're going to have our 3rd place finisher off stream.
Where is Quicklet right now as we speak, while Salty's on Lich?
He is taking on 4 worms, and he has passed the Tiamat 2 fight.
Oh boy, that means Quicklet is on the verge of gaining his 3rd place.
Yeah, and if I remember right, it's either Salty Fry or Quicklet has the win in race number 1 of this. So I think it's Quicklet. So this was more of an attempt to play defense on his part. But unfortunately, with the sheer volume of races, it was only an inevitability that the top players get their wins. And so, definite GG to Artea, who at the very least punches his ticket into the league playoffs. If he could hold defense over the next 8 races and try and get sole possession of 1st place, then there would be no need for league playoff, and he'd be the outright champion.
But don't forget, the league is not over after stage 8.
Well, I mean, it is if Artea is the only person in 1st place. I mean, the odds of that happening, you have to do your math over the next 8 races, and because of the sheer volume of races, either Tristal or Minochi or both could notch a win, forcing a playoff. But if they don't, for some reason, if Artea plays some stellar defense, or Quicklet notches a second or a third win, Fuchsia's going to get one at some point if he just keeps his head down and plays his cards right. He really could have had this one if it weren't for the Ice Cave Bungle. Maybe he gets one. Who knows? Salty Fry is an excellent player. Sho Fukamachi is still still coming on. It could happen that Artea could be our only first place candidate in which a playoff is not necessary.
Oh, and Quicklet has finished in third place with a time of 1 hour 59 and 10 seconds.
That is correct, Trenton. And Trenton chat, did Artea officially eliminate Sho from winning tonight? That is correct. He officially eliminated Sho and anyone between 5 through 8 that had any chance to sniff at the playoff, if there was one. Artea basically eliminated that and created basically a mass elimination for 95% of the league. So yes, that is what this win for Artea does for him. And I see Artea floating around in the chat. I'm trying to see if he will come into the Discord or not. So maybe he's having his break in front of his computer. I don't know. That finish for Quicklet is third place. Official SRL time of 1:59.10, right about the 120 mark. So 110 over 120 is roughly 0.08, 0.9, something like that.
And we are joined by Fuchsia, GD man.
Thanks.
So Fuchsia, the calculated gamble blows up in your face. You want to talk about that?
No. With the encounter rate being what it was, I thought I'd be clever. I'm playing against Artea, so I need to pull out some tricks to get ahead. And if it was anything but the floater, I would have gone on. But I got the floater, so much of the world opens up. Let's just go, hope nothing's in those other 13 chests, and, well, there was something in the 13 chests, and, well, that sucked.
And that was the second one. That's actually the second time this game that you did that. You actually skipped over the remaining chests in Marsh Cave as well, which actually turned out to be a positive gamble in your favor.
Oh, yeah, I think with Bones having Fire 2, it's not a bad idea to get out of Marsh, because there was only like 3 chests left. That would be a much safer gamble to make.
So as we're still focused on the Ashen here, we got Tristal in a desperation fight with Carrie, who finally gets Carrie 2 down, but was down to the Black Belt White Mage. White Mage will pick everybody up, and it'll be fine. We've got Kraken. We've got Salty Fry on Kraken 2 right now in his all-red pajama party. Why don't you walk me through the chaos? Yeah, the chaos was fairly light hit points. What did you see from him, though?
Nuke.
Yeah, we feared the Nuke was the one that hurt the most.
Well, it's a good thing that my Black Mage was able to... it's a good thing that Nuke low-rolled on my Black Mage. Otherwise, I would have been in quite a bit of trouble.
Did you manage to get Power Bonk and Dragon Armor?
I didn't get Dragon Armor. I only had like Flame or Ice Armor.
Yeah, that's where he in order to make up time, forgive me, we kind of wrote you off as a little dead in the water on account of skipping the Ice Cave, getting that forgetting that slab, abandoning the remaining chest and not getting the slab. I had assumed that because you had to double back, that kind of cost you. If we're looking at real-time numbers, it probably only set you back about the duration between you and Artea. So, a lot of the time that you actually made up, you made it to, like, almost high-fiving, but your encounter rates were wildly different. You power cycled right off of, and then burned a couple of encounters out of that.
Oh, I didn't power cycle for anything except the Pede grind.
Okay,
so,
then
it's just a regular reset?
Yep, just regular resets and probably bad luck. That encounter table was not particularly good. Although there were a few stretches here and there, and that might have actually helped me in the long term overall. But I don't know. The encounter table was not particularly friendly, and I just said, I'll take whatever the thing gives me. Usually it was bad.
Okay, then I'll just make the assumption that you and Artea must have been in different points in the encounter table, because I don't think I know. If I remember right, you had I think 3 really short encounters off of the off the power cycle, and I think it was a few more before you even got to a decent run.
Oh, it was probably more than 3. I got like 6 encounters before I got into Temple of Fiends the first time. Of course, 2 of the encounters I reset after the second encounter because I got hit by Slap by the wolves. So I figured pretty early on I was not going to power cycle because the first 6 encounters came pretty fast, and it was quite a while until there was a stretch that you could really use for overworld travel. And Lord help you if you try to go to the dungeons with that. Oh, Artea cycled before Mirage. Yeah, that probably would have worked out. I didn't really track just how bad it was.
Did you see what Carry 2 was packing?
Nuclear twice.
But that Warmech fight you had was super paper for Warmech.
Oh yeah, that Warmech fight was really came at a nice time because I was kind of low on levels, and I really wanted to get 2 or 3 nuke charges on my ninja. I don't know, what did Artea run as a party?
He ran 2 fighters and a black mage and a red mage. Well, okay. He ran 2 fighters and a black mage for most of the game, and then right before Mirage Tower, I believe, he killed the black mage and resurrected the red mage. So he kind of balanced the levels between the 2 mages, yet still fed his fighters a lot, and so a lot of the 2 fighters did a bulk of the work.
Yeah, I guess that can work out. I actually, I don't know, I think I wiped in Volcano I wiped to Red D, which had Thunder when my first run through Volcano, so I had to go through Volcano a second time, and I just said, there's nothing here that's really, really vital. I have Massa, so I just said, yeah, I'm just going to dive down, get the carry, beat her up, which I did.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but Tiamat 2 had crack.
Oh, he does. Crack kills.
Yeah, and it just ripped Salty's ninja.
Artea says he would have ran 2 red mages. I don't know if Artea's going to come in here or not.
He's given enough public discourse, so we kind of treat it like he's interviewing.
Yeah, I mean, I really think I only need the 1 fighter or a black belt, but I wouldn't be running black belt with such a look. In this flag set, I wouldn't run a black belt. But I really think I only need the 1 fighter. I'd rather have, at least 2 black magic casters, red or black. And then I actually fiddled with my party before I began, because I was, I was just fiddling between Thief and White Mage for my other slot. And I wound up going with the Thief because I hoped it would make the early game smoother, which it kind of did, I guess, with that encounter rate.
So joining us in chat now is 3rd place finisher Quicklit, one of our off-stream runners. Quicklit, GG. Why don't you just a quick kind of blurb about how you felt about that season?
He's still muted, man.
Unmuted, yeah.
There we go.
GG Quicklit.
Thank you.
How was that seed of yours?
I just really wanted to grab any random rat that was lying around and chop off its tail, because I could not find the one that Bahamut wanted.
You could have been, I don't know, I was kind of keeping an eye on you off stream, but I don't know at what point you got the tail. I think you almost full cleared. Tristal full cleared, with the exception of the 2 that did not contain the tail after the tail. Tristal pretty much full cleared.
The only thing I had left were the Crown Lock chests in Marsh, and then the single Crown Lock chest in Sea Shrine. But I opened everything else.
Yeah, you have to forgive me. I don't think actually Tristal checked Crown Lock.
But yeah,
So
I mean,
got...
the seed was pretty fun. It helped, I think, everyone if they took 2 people that were capable of casting black magic early on. Level 1 nuke is always fun.
And Salty just finished against Chaos.
And Tristal approaching Chaos, who's pretty much hopefully going to one punch man him, but he's definitely going to load up on the defense first. We know this is kind of a paper Chaos. Quickly, like I said, you were one of the off-stream owners. How did you fare with Chaos?
Well, he killed my black mage on turn 1 with nuke. But the black mage got fast off first, so he was pretty much worthless then anyway. I would have liked to cast a couple charges of temper, but I got enough powers off that it didn't, power bonk charges off that it didn't much matter. Although at one point my knight was down to about 100 HP, but he had a charge of cure 4 for himself, so it worked out.
So we have that nuke that wiped most of Tristal's party, but the black mage stood, and with a couple more punches, Tristal finishes his run through Chaos. I did not mention it before, but Salty Fry's time was 2:09:16, and then Tristal comes in 5th place with 2:09:56. We're going to try and get both of those guys in here for an interview.
And I have to apologize to racers because I'm the one who created the seed. I am so sorry if it turned out trolly.
All right, so now we are joined in the commentary booth by 4th place finisher Salty Fry. Salty, you gotta know that you were probably one of the 2 people who found the tail ridiculously early, and so I kind of had penned you as a favorite after that point, but unfortunately things just didn't work out for you. You kind of made a wrong turn that no one could tell you how to steer away from that, so just kind of talk us through that.
Well, the big mistake I made, I guess, was kind of forgetting about ordeals there, right? Like, if I'd gone right to ordeals, it probably would have worked out. And even when I got there, I kind of thought like I completely made the wrong play too, because I get there and I went straight for the incentivized chest and the ribbons in there, because I think it came down to that, at that point in time, it was either the ribbon or the crown in there. So that's kind of why I went there. But I should have gone there a lot earlier though, because I started checking all kinds of stuff in Mirage and in Sea Shrine and all that. So I don't know. It was a weird run from the start. The start was kind of slow going, kind of frustrating, and although when I found the tail, that was pretty sweet though. Like I finally got to the bottom of Earth there, and I wiped once down there, and I went down again, found the tail. I'm like, all right, maybe this is actually the right play, because I figured it'd be a long time before other people headed there for sure.
Yeah, it was only you and Minochi that found the tail that early, that made the early Earth dive, and Minochi's computer crashed, and so it was just you for a while, and then Artea made the right turn right after. Basically, he went ice, got the incentive, went ordeals, got the crown, and immediately beelined it for Earth, and so he made the right call there to kind of turn that back around and get that ship going full speed ahead. So you were still kind of in the thick of it for the most part, but unfortunately making that turn for Sea Shrine didn't help your case. As soon as he comes off of mute, we are also joined in the commentary booth by Tristal, the only man who nearly 100% completed the chest checking. So Tristal, how do you feel after that?
I don't think he realized he's muted.
Or he's continuing to have Discord problems. This sometimes happens to him. I think he's.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling a little disgusted with where that tail location was, and if not for that, I think I actually had a shot to win.
You kind of did, because you had the highest level on your black belt for the longest time. I've seen you ran the whole thing today.
Yeah, the grind went fine this time. I even managed to get the slab out of Ice Cave, which I wasn't sure everybody was going to be able to do. Everything went totally fine except tail hunt. So, yeah, full clearing sky and sea is going to make you lose by 20 minutes.
And I was wondering, how on earth did he get so lucky against the Agamas when they had stone poison?
I had a ribbon.
Yeah, but if you had gotten 3 and 256, you probably wouldn't have been too pleased with it. Well,
that's the risk you take, I guess.
As we begin to wrap this up, we have one last runner, Ali Gerbrap, who is off stream, who is fighting his way down. I believe he's going to find his tail down in the Earth Cave. He should be finishing sometime after that. I believe Earth's his last dungeon, but I will go ahead and grab final thoughts. We'll go in backwards order. Tristal, not your night tonight, not your night last night, but you got to feel like one's coming soon. You're still very much in this. So, any final thoughts? Great. Salty. Definitely. Not your night tonight, but you feel good going forward about notching a win this.
Yeah, I like my chances still. I just need to remember those incentivized chests. I guess it's been a long time since we had them in the league now.
Quickly, your defensive stand ended at 1, and so are you going to keep playing in this now that we have at least one certifiable winner of this league?
I won't have too many more opportunities, but I will when I can.
All right, Fuchsia. Unfortunately, I know you tried to play defense a lot last round, and it just didn't come up for you. But we definitely expect to see you back.
Oh, I definitely want to get a 0 on this round. I like this round. It's fun.
And Artea, our winner, GG, outside of the Discord chat. He's out there in the universe. GG on your win. GG on at least a share of the league victory. I can speak for him at this point. I know he will play defense as much as he is certainly able, because he has got to try and prohibit a playoff as much as possible. So definitely GG to you, Artea. Some masterful play tonight. Chitin, do you have any last thoughts before we sign off?
All I can say is, let's just hope there is more trolliness in the next seed.
The next match will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will be hosted, but I can't exactly tell you. Trenton can pop up in 2 seconds and tell me where we are hosting. But that is our next league.
And with that said, what about you, Forzano? Any last words for you before we wrap this up?
Well, I mean, I suppose I have to jump into 1 or 2 of these to get going. It's just, good to scout some of the competition. Good to see what's going on with this. And so I just want to thank Randomizer once again for hosting our Final Fantasy Randomizer League. Definitely big thanks to Trent, who has worked as both our restreamer and our tracker tonight. Just thank you so much to Nora and all the work that Randomania does for our little community. Certainly give Randomania and its auxiliary channels a follow. Come join us on Discord. We're definitely looking forward to inviting and helping out new players. Get involved with our spring tournament. Our signups, I think, are going up sometime after the end of this month, probably towards the end of this month. Definitely get plugged into that. Even if you don't want to play in the tournament, still come and get involved. We're definitely a fun, friendly bunch. We're definitely looking to add more to the community. If you like more Randomizer action, stay tuned. We're going to kick this restream over to Z-Man, who is currently playing Z1R. So for Chitin619, I've been Sportsondo. It has certainly been a pleasure. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
3 for
You're
the
not the
host.
only one, man.
Ew.
Nice
Getting
to
more
meet you.
hosty.
I'm getting all the random hosts.
The Ocho.
How random.
That's kind of a
How
crazy
very
little
random
ending.
Indeed.
I'm
Yeah,
happy
it's
with
Fearon,
my
by the way.
monsters. They did what I asked them to
Ron
do.
Burgundy.
It is Fearon. It is for Ron Burgundy.
It's very important. For Ron Burgundy.
Hey, Trenton.